that I think to the group is close about as Jimmy, Dr. Jimmy you mentioned is about 2 billion. And then in terms of the financing, we've been available to close about 300 million. And the group essentially specializes in this, medium value houses, I would say. I would say medium because the quality is so good. You don't see it low cost. And it's medium by virtue that the range, as you can see, the price range is very, very attractive, below 300,000. And even for a link house, I understand when they first started, they also did 200,000. And bungalows, they're trying to aim for below 300, which I thought was very good. So we have been with the group, as you mentioned, so the relationship has grown. Of course, we even work with the group, we even get the listed as an advisor as well. And we like this, it's very timely. And because of that, we hope them to do a lot more. And of course, you know, they are working on many other projects going forward as well. It is a plus 4, and you have a minus 13, that's 13 plus 4 is minus 17. That's how it goes. So when it goes and picked up, and you see maybe it's a double-digit growth as well, so quarterly or even monthly. And the way I look at it, I think my sense is that when we look at the activity in West Bank, I think the worst time that we had, the least activity that we see in terms of business, expansion, landings, of course during the MCO. You know, when we had the first round of MCO, you can't go out, and people have to stay home, and you can't do any activities. But I think since June, early June, which is just recently, 2 months ago, we've seen a lot of positive activities. People can come back and just start to work. Of course, unfortunately, is that it's within Malaysia, and we still see some pockets of business done very well. For example, exports, because online has been tough. The government projection of a GDP of -2. There's something within still the range that we're talking about for the whole year, because you have a plus, you have a minus, and then you have a sweep back. So because of that, net GDP growth or negative that we see is going to be still -2. That's our projections. But then again, as I said, these are preliminary. We don't know the numbers in the last 6 June, just 2 months. You know, and for me, it's been good. We see pick up in sales of cars. We see pick up in houses as well. And we see, as you all can see, the activities in the F&B, people are spending. And I think the moratorium that we've given basically to all banks, I think individuals and SMEs also help a lot. Because when times are tough and you have suspension in terms of repayment of their loans, what it does is that, as even the finance minister mentioned, it releases a lot of cash in the system. It costs about 66 billion. As I mentioned, to do this moratorium. And for us alone, for example, the moratorium means that people are not paying loans because they have this moratorium. Is worth the SMEs individual was 6 billion. So you can imagine 6 billion of cash that is sitting in the system. So again, for people who are affected because they lost their jobs or they have a reduction in income, what's good for them? Give them a reprieve, kind of come back on their feet. But people who has not, for example, the government servants, where there are people still working companies and their pay, that means is access to cash in the system. So which is good. And when the sentiments are positive and the confidence is there, then people will start to understand. But as Dr. Jimmy mentioned, as far as houses is concerned, there's still shortage, particularly affordable. That's why we thought it's good thing to work with the group in that sense.
In terms of the bank's notification laws, for the moratorium period from the 1st April to September, so do you have any figure on the notification laws that the bank?
It was a different topic, but I think modification loss is more of a timing loss, particularly when you give fixed rate or HP loans, and when you extend the tenure of the loans, and the rate limits are changed, there is a variation of pricing and these interest rates is given. And because, for example, you give a loan for 5 years and now become 5.5 or 5 plus 7 months, there's a cash flow mismatch against the pricing. And this modification loss will come back over time when the customer continues to make the payment. So it is really an accounting loss of cash flow. I think estimated, it's out in the range of 5 I would say the figure that is quite big. But then again, as I said, it's only pure accounting. But what happens is that for banks, generally is that we have a lot of funding given by the government, SMEs, and as a result, it helps to reduce some of the modification loss. Hence, the net impact of the modification loss, I would say net, is not that big for the year, for the financial year, compared to what it was before. I don't want to scare the business. I would say the loss maybe is like a 4 to 5 billion, but again, as it comes back, with all these government initiatives in terms of giving out loans to SMEs, so the net impact is much smaller than that. Right? It's probably a few hundred million, and it comes back over the years. So that's why, from a financial perspective, it is something that is very manageable.
So you were saying that the potential loss could be around 4 to 500 million.
And it's maybe a few hundred million, depending on the banks. Yes.
Okay, and how would this translate?
OPR always just resort to compassionate margins. And because they are accounting losses, there's really P&L loss. From a margin perspective, maybe it's still there, but from an accounting loss perspective, it's there for P&L because it hits your other income. In other words, so there is a compression from an other income perspective. But from a margin perspective, the biggest compression of the margin is because of the drop in the OPR particularly. But then again, what we hope to do is that when the OPR drops, that if you have business volumes picking up, then you will be in a position to cover some of those losses. But losses shouldn't keep margins.
In terms of the moratorium relief, can how much is accounted for 50% of the total?
I think it's big for AmBank. If you look at our customers, that most of the moratorium, it's about 683,000 customers, SMEs and individuals. And if you look at my loan book, it's close to about 65 to 70 million in terms of the total amount. That's the moratorium. Yes, there was a moratorium, which is comprised of SMEs, hire purchase, mortgages. Because you have what you call an auto moratorium, so you don't have to apply, and then the banks will automatically give you, unless you want to come out the moratorium. Right? So because of that, the banks like us has got huge concentration for SMEs as well as individuals. The book will be affected because I mentioned that we're giving moratorium, and the other banks, it will be the same. The number will be more than 50 million, and one above the size of what can happen.
Yes, the judgment from the currency of the bank projections about
-2 GDP growth. Yes.
How do you think that this forecast will?
It's a forecast.
How is that this forecast will impact the bank's performance for this?
I think overall, this year will be a slower year compared to last year from loans growth perspective. The thought is that it will probably in line with GDP, probably flat, and then with an all year because of the management funds given by the government, maybe 1 or 2%. I think projected loans growth this year for the banking industry is about 2%. Yes, we also project as industry.
Any further questions from members of the media? Maybe on
each of our township to build about 10,000 houses. We project to finish selling in 5 years. Of course, the number of people that has been handed over the key is in thousands. Like currently, we just in Bandar Baru Sedia Awan, in early March, we have completed about 3,000 unit of houses with Certificate of Fitness, CCC. However, middle of March, there has been a lockdown. So since then, even though MCO has been lifted, but the handing over key has slowed down, I think due to the new trend. They probably think that, a lot of my house buyers think that moving house is probably not something they want to do currently. Yeah, so I think Usually, for 3,000 houses to hand over, usually it will take about a year. For all 3,000 house buyers to move in, it definitely will take more than a year or two.
Hi, Dato' Azli again from Berhad. Moving forward, will there be other loan facility partnerships with other entities to help B40 and M40 this year?
It's certainly something that we want to do. Clearly, sometimes when you try to do development of the higher end, because the economy is kind of slowing down and it's result projected, certainly it wouldn't be so good. But if we can have an angle of working on affordable housing, the people who needs the product. At the end of the day, it's not about speculation, it's about people who can own houses and probably stay in the house. Certainly, it's a better approach for us. So certainly, the working with Lagenda Properties is what we do, and we want to do a lot more of those kind of relationships. But of course, we probably find the sessions when we talk about this other partnership. If you look at one of the strategy, at least for AmBank Group, for going forward, the top four that we spoke about, is really about working on collaboration and ties. We work with many companies on collaboration with Lagenda, basically on affordable housing. If you see some of the initiatives that we do with Nexus, is really talking about SME. How can I give SME a digital enablement? We work with them. For example, they are online equity streaming. That's something that we do. Again, the approach for our bank, we are also big, also small. But one thing we want to do is to have better reach out. And the best way to have better reach out is to form collaboration and partnership.
Hi, this is Veronica from Orange Media, and the question is addressed to Dr. Jimmy. Of course, it is nice to see that the project is targeted for B40 and M40. But overall, I think a lot of developers are targeted at same groups as well, as COVID-19 have caused a lot of foreigners cannot invest in our country. So how do you overcome this problem that when the supplies are more than the demand?
I think a lot of developers are doing affordable housing for compliance purposes. For example, if you look at KL, Selangor, for example, Rumah Selangor is priced below 300,000, and there's a certain percentage of every development they will need to build houses below 300,000. So when a property developer is doing it by compliance, they are probably not doing the right thing. So for us, where else is very different. Our whole township is below that price. And we're talking about compliance purpose, like for example, RSK is 300,000. Most developer pricing at 300,000 or 298 or 298.
But those are not located in Perak. Those are pricing, that price are mostly, away from the north side.
I understand that. But what I'm trying to say is, where else in Perak, for example, the compliance is 250,000. But we do not sell our houses at 249 or 250. We address this problem by going out to our buyers and understand what is actually their main income level and what is the amount of loan they can actually reach. I'm making an example in RSKU because it's better for everybody to understand, because you are from Selangor. In Perak, average income earner is 2,000 to 3,000. If you ask them to go to any bank or any financing, they are unable to pay anything above 1,000 ringgit. So even for compliance purpose, if developers were to sell house at 250,000, buyers are unable to actually get loan. So of course there is a big supply of houses below 250,000, but I am selling house at 150,000, where the installment is coming out to about 600 to 700 ringgit. It's reachable to people.
Okay. Another question.
Because in the last 4 years, when you look at our top four focus, we say what are the focus areas we want to drive the bank. by virtue of our position, because we used to be a strong corporate bank and a strong HP bank, and we find that SME rates of growth are very fast. And because we have a lot of relationships with corporates and we do understand a lot of SMEs, and we have supported them on this one. So if you look at the growth that we have, which is today, we started the journey was 86 billion of total assets. Now it's more than 100 billion, and a big chunk of the growth coming from the SMEs. So if you look at the growth, 86 is equal to over 14 billion growth above everything that I had. So my net disbursement in 1 year is close to 7 billion, right, for SMEs. So there's a lot of help there.
Perhaps I make my question to a very relevant question in that, for example, like a lot of retailers, they own shops, and they couldn't have the chance or opportunity to talk to any banker saying that how they're able to continue to rent the shop, to continue the business there. On this particular issue, how do we able to help out this type of?
So the current environment, like you say, the COVID-19.
Yeah, how do they actually ask for help?
So immediately today, if you look at it, one is the auto extension. Immediately, SMEs don't have to pay for their loan. So if they don't have to pay for their loan, because they have to pay rental, and which means that it's a good thing for them from a cash flow perspective. So that's only given by all banks. For SMEs from April onwards to September. Now, even after September, we have a graduated program whereby we will look at individual state of the SME. In fact, we have 18,000 SMEs in AmBank, and we reach out to every single one with RF sign, and we talk to them in terms of what are the requirements to help them to survive post-COVID. And what we do is that we look at the current exposure, and then we see whether we can help them from a cash flow perspective. And we are in a position to be deferring their repayment even further. And I think we have done that already for some, even the loan, the extension is now 2 years, but which don't think that is so big, that really is the case. But we also find that some SMEs don't need it, but which show that they're okay to manage the cash flows. So for AmBank, we have reached out every single SME of them for facilities with us, and be able to restructure the capital needs of SMEs. That's what we've done so far. Right?
Yeah, maybe to add, what Dato has mentioned is that over the period of COVID, we have actually approved more than 1 billion of special relief funds for the SMEs out there that is benefiting more than 1,000 SMEs. But although this number in the total ecosystem of SMEs is not very big, but we are doing our part. But the more important thing is that how can we help SMEs reach through this difficult period by not giving just financing, but we are helping them to transform their business as well. That's why we come up with initiative like BizHub, where we actually create a marketplace for SMEs to be able to put their products online. This is the first marketplace in Malaysia that is backed by commercial banks. So we are not just giving financing, but we are helping them to transform their business model from a brick and mortar, but maybe to a certain portion for e-commerce. That's, I think, more important for the businesses on top of just financing.
And actually, whatever figures that you just mentioned, we read from the newspaper as well. But what I mean is how the SME entrepreneurs is able then to step in and ask for help. That is, how do they know you have all these facilities and easier for them to step into every AmBank branch to ask for help? Like for me, I have 4 companies. I have 2 companies in China, 4 companies in Malaysia. So what I did is, my account did not know how to solve certain bank issues until I walked into AmBank and asked for, like, for example, I want to have a simple way of receiving my loan or my checkbooks or whatever. I have to step in to your branch to ask for help. But why not this all information or I would say the inputs can reach us in advance? What I request.
It's your personal experience, not how we do AmBank.
I love and enjoy AmBank services, honestly.
So you trust that people are reaching out to you?
Yes.
Okay.
I have to step in. I have to call for help.
Because we got 18,000 SMEs, we're reaching out, so maybe we missed one, but we will check on your number and see how and see what happens. Because we do go out there and talk to them, particularly if they have facilities with us. And for the one-stop facilities, we actually have a special process to approve the loan. For them, SREF, we do it as we announced within 48 hours and disbursing within 5 days. You know, but in your case, and of course we want to discuss it public here, I think we can reach out to you and find out, you know, what happened there. That's why we have been doing it. Hence, I think we have, as Chris mentioned, we've secured $1 billion worth of loans, very cheap loans for Bank Negara to actually fund these businesses. And again, as I said, for customers who doesn't want to issue facility, we even extend their loan. So it's okay. So we can have a discussion and see.
Thank you so much. Last question for Dr.
Currently, we do not have any JVA partner yet, but we have been approached by many different companies, including one from China for construction. So they are trying to propose something to reduce further our construction costs. However, we have not finalized anything yet, but we are open for discussion for anything as long as we can further reduce our costs and hope to further reduce our selling price.
That's all from me.